Om. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Now today we start with verse 6. And this now, as I told you, that this chapter enumerates the three gunas. And it is describing the mental qualities that with which you can recognize the gunas playing in you. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat प्रकाशकम् अनामयं सुखसंगेन बध्नाति ज्ञानसंगेन चानघ. He calls him Anagha. Anagha, I have told you, is the sinless one. Anybody to be a patra of a teaching from the Lord himself, think about it, that person must be sinless. And the Lord himself is calling him sinless. That means Arjuna must be having a very, very pure soul. He must be a very, very pure soul and listening with a calm mind now. First, Krishna has calmed his mind and then he is giving out the teaching. So he is complimenting him as the sinless one, and a sinless one is the one who is a very ready receptacle for this teaching and is a very apt student to go beyond these three gunas, to try to go beyond these three gunas. Now, he says of these sattva, of these means of these three gunas, of these sattva, which because of its stainlessness is luminous and healthy, binds by attachment to happiness and by attachment to knowledge, O sinless one. देखिए, Gurudev used to say that all these three gunas are shackles. Don't think that sattva is not a shackle. Sattva is pure happiness, pure total purity, total illuminosity, yet it is a shackle. And he used to call it a golden shackle. But even made of gold, a shackle is a shackle, isn't it? A chain is a chain. Whether it is made of gold or it is made, तो आपके हाथ तो बंध ही गए ना gold से भी, right? So it's a metal. So he says of these sattva. Now in this stanza is talking only about sattva. Of these sattva, which because of its stainlessness is luminous and healthy, binds by attachment. देखो, this also binds you. This also enslaves you. How does it enslave? With what does it enslave? It enslaves by attachment to happiness. देखिए, जब आप सत्व में होते हैं ना, तो उसमें सुख बहुत मिलता है. Now, giving you an example, you go for a satsang. ठीक है ना? You go for a talk to listen to a Mahatma. How do you feel over there? Shant, peaceful, joyful. You feel very nice. That's the reason you go to satsang, right? Because why? Because it gives you peace. It gives you happiness. Peace is the best form of happiness. So then it keeps giving you peace and it keeps giving, even if it is short lived, it is there. No? Now that at that period, When you are attending satsang, you are in sattva. You are in sattva. Now, people who feel the joy of the satsang, the peace of the satsang, keep going again and again and again, isn't it? That is why you get bound. We used to leave everything and run to listen to Swami Chinmayananda. Why? Because in his sanidhya, in his company, there was so much of peace. We used to be uplifted from our gross levels of tamas and rajas. So once you go into sat, but that is a binding. ना? आप सब छोड़ के वो आपको खींचता है, आपको कंपेल करता है. Whereas the Mahapurush or the Siddh Purush has to go beyond even this. The Siddh Purush must leave sattva also. And Gurudev is a pure sattva, absolutely rarefied sattva, cannot last. It cannot last. The person goes beyond it because there's no person left. देखिए ये जो गुणास है ना, they are called knots. KNOTS knots. ठीक है ना? तो ये गांठें हैं जो आपको बांधे हैं, but they are actually not. NOT not. So these knots are actually not there, but you feel that they are there. देखिए आप कोई रस्सी से तो नहीं बंधे ना, कोई चेन से नहीं बंधे, कोई शैकल से नहीं बंधे. So where is the knot? The knot is in your mind. The knot is in your mind, and that is what you have to get out of. And I had also told you that, you see, when Yashoda ji was trying to tie Krishna as a punishment, unko बांध रही थी, and every time the rope with which she was tying him used to fall short. दो उंगली का फर्क, every time. So what was that दो उंगली का फर्क? He said that you cannot tie me unless these two things go from you. That is काम and मोह. तो ये दोनों चीजें जब तक आपके मन में से नहीं निकलेंगी, you cannot tie me. So you have to go. सुख की भी कामना है. It is a काम. देखो ध्यान से, हैं? Even the desire that I want happiness, I want peace, is what? Is a desire or not? So sattva binds with the desire for happiness and also the desire for knowledge. Yes, I will tell you something. There is something known as Shastra Vasana. Shastra Vasana is the desire for knowledge, the desire for more and more and more knowledge. See, there are some people who are not at all spiritual minded. They are not even noble people. They are nothing. But unko, they are totally academic minded. They just want more and more and more knowledge. So there are many people, you see, उनका अध्ययन बहुत गहन है. They have deep, deep knowledge and they go on collecting more and more knowledge. They are like an encyclopedia. You ask them anything and they'll give it to you on fingertips. But that does not mean that they are noble or they are in pure sattva. This Shastra Vasana, but it is a desire for spiritual knowledge more and more and more. There are many people who are into this kind of thing. Just Shastra Vasana. They will do research on Upanishads, they will do research on Geeta, they will do research on any text that any big Mahatma has written. But what are they themselves? Full of rajas, full of the desire for fame, full of the desire for मेरा नाम होना चाहिए, मुझे power मिलनी चाहिए, recognition, I want recognition. So all those are what? They go with the desire for knowledge, right? So here, see this, huh? A Mahapurush cannot be tied with these ropes. He goes beyond these ropes. I told you that gunas in Sanskrit, the word guna also means rope. तो ये भी एक शैकल है. It is an absolute shackle. अच्छा, दूसरी चीज क्या कहते हैं कि सत्व जिसके पास होता है वो ही इज स्टेनलेस. स्टेनलेस मीन्स विदाउट मल. निर्मल. निर्मल नाम होता है ना कई लोगों का, निर्मल. निर्मल मीन्स विदाउट एनी मल. मल इज डर्ट, impurity. And nirmal means somebody who's got no impurity. So sattva is one thing जो कि निर्मल होता है. It is and निर्मल कैसे होता है कि somebody who's in sattva, total sattva, 99% sattva, let us say, he is without rajas and without tamas. But even this is binding. Please don't forget, this is even binding. Now, see, another thing, what does he say? He says binds with attachment to happiness. This I've already explained to you. Attachment to knowledge, he says, oh, sinless one. Now, sinless one, maybe Arjun had some impurity in him, and that is why he was so agitated and restless. So definitely he had something. But at this moment, when the student is sitting with an absolutely quiet, peaceful mind, he can be called sinless. Sin ka pehla symptom is agitation in the mind. Whenever you commit something wrong, the first thing that happens is your peace is disturbed. Your mental agitations do not let you sleep because you know that this was not something you should have done, and yet you are doing it. So, unless you are totally justified in your own intellect that I'm doing the right thing, if you are totally justified in your intellect that you're doing the right thing, or upar se nahi, actually you think you are doing the right thing, then there will be no agitation and there will be no paap also. But if you feel somewhere that you're being unfair, if you feel somewhere that you are not doing the right thing, you feel somewhere that you are committing a sin, there will be agitation. For sure. And agitation is the first sign of sin. ठीक है ना? So all your actions should be those with pure intentions and surrendered to the Lord. Okay. Now, see, in this chapter, you find the description of 3 states of mind under the influence of these 3 gunas. And you get these descriptions are symptomatic that if you have this, then understand you are under sattva. If you have this, understand you are rajas, under a rajasic influence. And again, tamas qualities are also elaborated that if your mental state is like this, you are under tamas. And it is a kind of a it describes your thought life and how your thoughts run. And thoughts, whatever is the condition, purity or impurity of the thoughts, how much is the purity, how much is the impurity, with that you can actually get to know your own state of mind. And mind you, it keeps on changing. It keeps on all the time changing. अच्छा, then ये देखिए, सुख संगेन बदनाति. Sukh Sangen, you can only become here attachment to happiness. Sukh Sangen means attachment to happiness. But here you see, Gurudev gave the example of Ramakrishna, Gurudev gave the example of Jesus, that they had gone beyond the body. Now, once you go beyond the body, you neither feel dukh nor you feel sukh. You are beyond it. आप किसी भी द्वंद में नहीं हैं. सत्व जब तक है आपका सुख संग है. That means you attach to happiness. You want that peace. You want that happiness all the time. That is why people who are in sattva, they say, don't disturb me. I'm not into any of these things that agitate me. क्यों? क्योंकि आपका attachment है to that happiness. Whereas a person जो देहातीत होता है, देहातीत means gone beyond the body. Somebody who has gone beyond the body, a Siddha Purush, he is even beyond Sattva. And therefore, Ramakrishna, suffering from cancer, did not feel the pain of his cancer. Jesus Christ, being crucified on the cross, no agitation in his mind. Not only agitation, but look at his mind. He was even saying, Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Only a realized master can say that. Just nobody, you and I, to सवाल ही नहीं है. We'll be the first people cursing the person who has done anything wrong to us. Leave aside being crucified. Even a small something, if somebody does, your mind starts cursing that person. तो हम अपनी तो बात ही नहीं करें. बट सुख संग जो है ये, इससे people who are into the sattva mood are bound. ठीक है. Now, also understand among these gunas, when you are trying to find out under which influence you are, the influence that you are under a certain guna will determine your action. ठीक है ना. तो आपके एक्शंस वैसे ही हो जाएंगे, depend whatever you are bound to, and you are limited by that. Okay, then so see, everybody is this, everyone is different. And you will ask the question, as any student will ask the question, कि भाई, how come we are so different, and how come our minds reflect such different things? Consciousness is the same. And if consciousness is pure Anand, how come I have that much of tamas in me, or I have that much of rajas in me? Some people just like to sleep or sleep. Some people are so dynamic in their action that they can't rest. They must do something. They must do something. क्यों ऐसा होता है? And some people are into sattva. ये है which is called Pratibhimbavad. Pratibhimbavad is what? The reflecting medium, whatever is yours, will determine the kind of divinity that flows out of you, or the devilishness that flows out of you, will be determined by the quality of your reflecting medium. Consciousness is pure for everybody. Consciousness that reflects in your mind, that dynamizes your mind, is the same. Your reflecting medium is muddy. Again, giving you the same example which I give all the time, buckets of water kept. In one water, there is a color mixed. In another water, there is mud mixed. In another water is clear. Now, the one in which green color is mixed, when the sun falls on that, the rays that that bucket will throw out onto the wall will be greenish. The bucket in which muddy water is there, when the pure sun rays falls on that muddy water, the reflection it gives out is unclear, isn't it? It is dhumil. It is not a clear reflection. Whereas in a clear, a bucket with clear water, the sun rays is so bright and it throws light on the wall, the whole room lights up. Your whole room can light up with that, isn't it? So that is that pure glass, clean glass. कितनी जोर से सन रिफ्लेक्ट करता है, यू कांट लुक एट इट. वो बचपन में हम लोग तंग करते थे दूसरों को ना. यू सिट समवेयर विद अ पीस ऑफ ग्लास एंड वो रे सन की लेके एंड यू रिफ्लेक्ट दैट ऑन द पर्सन's eyes, and that person will do like this. Why? Because he cannot stand it. It is so clear. So the reflecting surface of our minds is different. Each one's mind is different, and therefore the rays that emanates, the pure rays of consciousness that dynamizes that mind, the reflection will be accordingly. This also is an example given Vivek Chudamani, Shankaracharya's Vivek Chudamani. So here this is okay. Okay, so this we've done. Now you come to the next verse. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam Tannibadnati Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam. So this is a very familiar, this all of us knows. We all know. All the thoughts that drag you out of your meditation are rajasic. It's very easy to know what disturbs you in your meditation. How do you find out? You find out because watch your thoughts. Where do your thoughts go? To whom do your thoughts go? They will very seldom go to the person you love, है ना? आप बड़ी जल्दी उसे डिटैच कर सकते हैं. What you cannot detach from is the person you hate, or person you think has been unjust to you, you think has been unfair to you. When you sit for meditation, your mind will again and again go to what that person said, what that person did. You know, it is amazing. So watch your mind. So those are the ropes that bind you. Acha. Also, the big rope of rajas kaun sa hai? Ahem. I am doing. मैं कर रहा हूं. अच्छा. Ragatmakam, rag is passion, extreme desire for something. Sorry, extreme desire to do, extreme desire to get something, extreme desire to possess it and hold it and guard it from others snatching it away. All this comes under rajas. So you have to track your thoughts and you have to recognize which rope is binding you at a certain moment. See, it goes on changing. Don't be afraid of ropes, you know. वो कभी कोई आता है तो कोई आता है. Sometimes you are under sattva, sometimes you are under rajas. है तो कभी कभी बिल्कुल तमस होता है. तो don't be afraid, but try to get out of it. Once you become intelligent enough, knowledgeable enough to recognize these ropes, that is your own mental state. Ropes are nothing but your own mental state of mind. So once you are clever enough to recognize, ठीक है ना, you will be able to tackle it. यहाँ पे देखो तृष्णा संग समुद्भवम, born of Trishna. ये जो word Trishna है, in Sanskrit it means thirst. Desire is likened to thirst. मेरी प्यास बुझा दो. अच्छा, we all know ना, when we are thirsty, can you think of anything else except water? You don't. Even if some diamond is being given to you, you say, मैं पानी पी लूं फिर देखूंगा, है ना? Somebody who's dying of thirst cannot think of anything except water, believe me. So desire is likened to Trishna. I mean, the word used in the Vedantic text is Trishna over. So it is, you cannot think of anything, but the first priority is to satisfy thirst or quench your thirst. So desire is like that. और जब ऐसा हो जाए कि आपको कुछ नहीं सूझता, I want this, I want this, I want this, and this must happen, this must happen, this must happen. क्या हो गया? Your peace is gone, totally gone. You cannot think of anything else except just this. So rajas will also come, sattva will also come, tamas will also come. But you are the ones who have to recognize the symptoms and get out of them. Now, this rajas is not just for objects in the world. Please carefully, huh? Rajas is also for emotional fulfillment, intellectual fulfillment, okay, feelings and emotions. You want satisfaction. I want respect. It goes to subtle levels. I want respect. I want recognition. और क्या? I want love. I want affection. These are all ropes. All these different urges are all ropes. So they are distinct categories. Desire and attachment. There are two categories. You can broadly make them into two categories: desires and attachments. So rajas binds you with all these. Attachment means what? You have something. It may be an object, it may be a person. ठीक है ना? You are attached to that. You don't want to leave. You don't want to leave. And when you don't want to leave that person gains the power to whip you. The more the attachment, the more the power of that person over you, that person or the object over you. I know of a person, I think I've given this example before in my talks. It's a real example, huh? True thing. This man bought a new Mercedes, and he was so attached to that car, and he was so attached to showing off that car to the people he knew, that once somebody, on Delhi streets, how the traffic is, and no use driving Mercedes and Lexus and all that on these streets, because somebody or the other will scratch it. आप कितना ही ध्यान से चलाओ, somebody will scratch it the way the traffic is here. So the car got scratched on the road by somebody else. And this man got down from the car, and the car was scratched. The scratch was on his heart. Oh my God. And he got so angry, so angry, so angry with that man. He just lost all control over his mind. And he immediately had a heart attack there on the road and died there. Right on the road, he died. Do you realize how much power that car had over him? Attachment to the car. Sounds familiar, na? A little bit. Yeah. So it's not just car, anything at all which you prize, which you think is, और उसमें जरा सा कुछ हो जाए, and then you see and watch the fun. ठीक है? One quality of rajas is that it is never satisfied. Never satisfied. A person who is rajasic, no matter how much power he has, he will go on hunting for power. No matter how much money he has, he will always want more and more and more. अरे उसको समझाओ कि भाई तुम्हारे पास ऐसा है that 7 generations can go on eating if they do nothing. No. But he can't stop. And he works like a laborer. From morning to night, he is working like a laborer. He cannot rest. Why? What is it that is whipping him? Rajas. ठीक है ना? So Gurudev used to say that you plot various combinations of uh, food, wine, and women, and that is how all fools spend their entire life. कभी सोचो ध्यान से कि आपका दिमाग क्या प्लॉट कर रहा है. व्हाट आर यू प्लान? ऐसा खाना बनाएं, अब वो तो बन गया, वैसा बनाएं, वैसा बनाएं. All the time your mind is food centered. Food, women, wine. Swamiji said these 3 things because they are the main hunting grounds for people, and they try different combinations. A new cafeteria is opened, you want to go and have coffee there. Why? Haven't you had coffee before? Haven't you gone to maybe 100 cafeterias by now and had coffee here, there, and all over the world you go to cafeterias and have coffee? What is so special about that? नहीं, नया खुला है ना, देखते हैं. There the coffee is different. Is there anything different in the coffee bean? No, but you must go running. So this is all what? This is rajas, a pleasure seeking. And Gurudev used to say, every fool spends his whole life doing just this. Different combinations of clothes. Clothes are clothes. They are meant to cover your body, to protect you. That's all. And yet, अभी ऐसा पहना तो अभी वैसा पहना, अभी यहाँ से काट दो, अभी वहां से काट दो, यहाँ से लंबा कर दो, वहां से छोटा कर दो. And all mothers spend half their life fulfilling these fashion needs of their growing children. That nahi mummy, my friends wear this and I have to wear this. So all the old clothes are thrown. ये सब क्या है? You spending so much of your life doing just this. Is it worth it? So you have to think about it. This all comes under Trishna. Trishna, and something that cannot be satisfied. You go on trying to satisfy it, it does not get satisfied. And there is a slavish binding. Slave mentality हो जाती है. That is why you say ना, brand slavery, fashion slavery, cosmetic slavery. These are all different kinds of slavery. Either I have this or I am miserable. If I don't have it, I'm miserable. Gurudev used to make fun of people who had a pillow slavery. I can't sleep without my pillow. So even in the ashram, which provides a beautiful bed and beautiful bedding to you, those people used to get their own pillow from the home because they can't sleep without the pillow, without their pillow. Gurudev used to joke and say, Gurudev used to travel a lot, na? 2, 3, 4, 5, इधर उधर बहुत जाते थे. So he used to say that supposing I all the time carry my pillow under my arm, ke no, I have to carry my pillow to America, to Canada, to Hong Kong, everywhere. The Swami comes down with his pillow. This would look so silly, but this is it. So there are three main things about Rajas, and Gurudev lists them: to acquire, to possess, and to guard. Once you have possessed it, to guard कि कोई ले ना जाए, कोई छीन न ले आपसे. You should be able to hold it. So this is what? This is Yoga Kshema. And in this Yoga Kshema आप लगे रहते हैं. Even when the Lord has promised that you surrender to me, Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham, he says, I will look after your Yoga and Kshema. But we don't trust him. Yeah. Now, one of the most important things to get over Rajas is to offload. Carefully, I'm using this word offload. Offload, not the objects. That's easy to do. Huh? पुरानी साड़ी हो गई, निकाल के दे दी. You think you great thing. पुराने कपड़े हो गए, पुराने जूते हो गए. You are giving off to people, and you think कि आपने बड़ा दान कर दिया, बहुत बड़ा दान कर दिया. It's not a दान. You don't need it anymore. So you are, what are you doing? You are offloading. ठीक है ना? You are offloading. But here offloading, the more you offload, believe me, even objects, you feel lighter. You feel very nice. You feel, oh my, thank God, it is useful to somebody else. It was not of any use to me, but I was still keeping it and keeping it. I'm not saying give away everything. We can't. We are grihasthas, we have to use things. But those that you do not also need, wo bhi store rakhe hain, rakhe hain, rakhe hain, you don't throw them. So there is so much of clutter in the house. And that all weighs on your mind. Mind you, it weighs on your mind. You will never feel light. Now, offloading is not just about objects. देखो ध्यान से हैं. Offloading is about the past and people whom you keep holding on to in your mind. Memories that you keep holding on into your mind. Grudges, that you hold on your mind. Ideas of revenge, ideas of injustice that you keep clutching onto. Why are you clutching onto them? Are they doing you any benefit? This one said this to me, that one said that to me, that one was unfair to me, उसने मुझे ये कह दिया. Can you imagine? This kind of thing, that speaking or something that happened, what happened, years back it happened, still the memory of that unfair thing is lodged in your mind. Offload it. Throw it out. Please, please, please. Throw out people from your mind. Even evildoers and all. आजकल papers, newspapers, TV and all, सबसे पहले वो दर्शन कराते हैं of criminals, evildoers. Papers are full of pictures of, and then they give you graphic details of how the murder took place. देखा है ना? So then they lodge in your mind. you think about them, you relate them to others, and all this all comes under garbage you store in your mind. So one of the main thing to do really to get out of rajas is offload from your mind. Acha, now come to this. Okay. देखो एक और मैं बात बताऊं इसमें, आई जस्ट फील रिमाइंडेड अबाउट दिस रजस, दिस डिजायर टू अर्न मोर, टू राइज मोर एंड ऑल दैट, सो स्ट्रांग, स्पेशली हमारे बच्चों में, आर यंगस्टर्स. Youngsters means those who are in their 20s, taken up new jobs and they're trying to prove themselves and all that. All MNCs, all MNCs actually make cash on this desire to earn more and to rise more in these youngsters. And this ambition and this desire, even when they have enough, this desire is something that MNCs exploit. Let me use the word exploit, because they understand that the young people are full of dynamism, full of, they will work for hours and hours. If you give them a promotion, if you give them more money, they will go on doing more and more and more till it comes till here. They can't even breathe. They have no time to eat. They have no time to sleep. They have no time to meet their family. But the desire is so strong. That is Rajas. That is Rajas at its worst. It will not let you rest. There will be so much agitation. Now come to the last one. Tamas tava jnana, tamas tvajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabhihi tannibadnati bharata. Okay, this is more closer to us, closer to home. What are the three main qualities of tamas listed in the second line? See, pramad, alasya, nidra. है ना? ये तीन. हाँ जी. प्रमाद, heedlessness, indifference, that is pramad, not being alert. These three qualities, Gurudev used to say, are as bad as death for a sadhak. I'm not saying it's Gurudev's words. These three qualities are as bad as death for a sadhak. प्रमाद में प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन भी आता है, यू नो, पोस्टपोनिंग थिंग्स, आज नहीं करते कल करेंगे, कल नहीं करते परसों करेंगे, अभी तो बहुत टाइम है बाद में करेंगे. This is procrastination, which comes under pramad. Also, heedlessness, carelessness of things, keeping your things carelessly. You see some people's room, how filthy they keep it. Things are all over the place, and they cannot tidy it up. This is all pramad. Alas, so we all know. I don't have to say anything, The autobiography of an animal and a tamasic human being is the same. The only thought is what to eat next. कहाँ जाएं, क्या खाएं, क्या नया खाएं, कहाँ क्या खा सकते हैं. This is called charana. तो चर ये जो है charana, so what to eat and excrete and procreate. And dying, of course, comes naturally. It comes automatically. You don't have to make an effort for it. वो तो हो ही जाता है. पर ये तीन चीजों के लिए भी they only think of just this: sleep, eat, excrete, procreate. There is nothing more in their life than just these. And these three things bind you completely and totally. Nobody says don't sleep. Sleep is a necessary part of your life. You cannot, your body and mind and intellect will never be refreshed if you don't sleep. But excessive sleep, when they say nidra over here, this only means excessive sleep. So that excessive sleep is, you should get out of. People sleep much more than they require. And I told you procrastination ko you go and sing कल करूँगा, कल कहूँगा, कल कहता, उससे one of the Swamis in the mission said, कल कहता से बना है कलकत्ता, and कलकत्ता, कल कहता, and so कल, huh? And then they said, Banerjee, Chatterjee, Mukherjee, no energy. So they, they, why are Bengalis considered lazy? Over the world, Punjab farmer, look at the way he works. Very hard because the climate there is different. Whereas in Bengal, you just throw the seeds and the crop will come up on its own. You don't have to do anything. Water comes on its own. The land is very rich. That is why it is called Sonar Bangla. Because everything grows on its own. All the farmer has to do is throw the seed and then reap it. So जब करने ही कुछ नहीं है, so the attitude of laziness and but that is also a reason why these people got so much of time on their hands, that art, literature, intellectualism all flourished over there. They are writers, musicians, artists, this, that, they all sprung from Bengal because they have the time to do all that. Now you see, एक और चीज होती है tamasic, which is tamasic, and that is dosha drishti, finding fault in others. Is some people's habit, They go on criticizing everything. They criticize the government, they criticize ministers, they criticize policies, they criticize the neighbor, they will criticize their relatives, they will criticize, I mean, anything and anything they see around them, there is something wrong they will see over there. So, always seeing something wrong with something is called dosha drishti. That person has got a dosha drishti. That means his eyes are made like that he only notices something negative. भाई लोगों में पॉजिटिव भी चीजें होती हैं. There are positive things happening around you in the world. There are positive things which ministers are doing. There are positive things which your country is going forward with. Why don't you see those and appreciate? No. But they just go on criticizing. This is a very common thing people do. The very common thing. जब आप दूसरे में अवगुण देखते हैं, that shows the opposite direction. That means that pride in your own gunas makes you see avgun in others, because you think you are the best. You think what you think is the best, what you do is the best, what everybody else does is wrong and bad. That makes you feel that you are the one who thinks that I am perfect. So, this kind of thing. So, tamas in the human personality binds with lower kind of thoughts, lower kinds of passions, lower kinds of desires. And tamas is very, very, very binding. Tamas is much more binding than any of these other shackles. क्योंकि इसको कहते हैं, this is an iron shackle. Iron is strong. So this is an iron shackle. And there is, Gurudev writes that there is no consistency of purpose. They will pursue something for a short while and then leave it midway. Pursue something for a short while, leave it midway. They never take it to the end. Any small, छोटा सा भी वो आ जाता है ना, hurdle, they will leave it. Such people can do nothing in life. They are never, never successful because they do not have the grit to take the thing right up to its logical end. Hmm? And so these three are all three bind. Hmm? And of course they bind, and as though you are bound. ये word याद रखना. They bind as though you are bound. You can easily free yourself from them. If you make the effort, you are the one who can free your mind of all these shackles. So here we stop and we'll take up verse 9 next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेव वशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।